guys, welcome back to my channel where I'll be doing another episode recap for today's Days of Our Lives, November 18, 2024. So we see Joy and Kate, right? So Kate is just checking in with Joy to see how she's adjusting to the soap opera, everything with it. Is she making friends? So she said, yes, it's been good so far. She's, blending in and, blending in with the castmates and everything. And she said that Chanel has really been nice to her. So she said, that's surprising because, on the show, you're actually out to steal her man. So I'm really tired of this joke. I think it's just really tiring because, how much time they're gonna mention in this thing that, she's out to get Chanel's man and all that? If it's not Kate, it's somebody else or Chanel herself. It's really annoying. So anyways, she said that I'm glad that things are going well. So she also told Kate that Chanel actually invited her over for dinner. So she's just looking forward to that, right? So Roman comes over and he has a special, surprise for Kate. Today's actually the first airing of their soap opera Body and Soul. So they got some celebratory cupcakes. Of course, they don't know who it came from, but, it's just to commemorate the airing of it, right? So Bonnie comes over to Alex's place and she, is sorry to just, stop over. So he's like, no problem. I was about to watch the soap opera airing and all that. So she said, she also wants to do that as well. However, things have just been chaotic at the Kiriakis mansion, given, everybody really wants to know what's going on with Sarah's condition, if she's gonna walk again, and also her husband Justin is actually dealing with some legal stuff. So they're just there to come and sit and watch what's going on. So she gets some cupcakes as well, to celebrate the soap opera's airing. So they were about to eat the cupcakes. So for some reason, Bonnie decides to become smart in this episode because she said, what if it's poison or it's tainted? So it's like, really, like, who would do that? So she's like, stranger things have happened and we live in a crazy world. And she's like, what if it was Hattie? Because remember, Hattie was angry about being let go from the show and she said she was gonna put a curse on us and all that. So it's like, I think you're really overreacting. So she said, maybe not, but better to be safe than sorry. So she threw it away, right? So they begin to watch a soap opera taping, and after it ended, they were talking about how good their performances was, and they're expecting to see more of a fan base for each other. So anyways, she leaves and he decides to do a workout and then eat the cupcake. So I don't know, I have a very funny feeling that Hattie is up to her neck in this, and she's about to create havoc. We haven't seen the last of her. So we see Johnny and EJ, right? Because at this point, EJ tells Johnny that, they got some celebratory cupcakes to, celebrate the soap opera's airing. So Johnny's not really in the best of moods. So he's like, why are you so down? Like, your soap opera is airing. Shouldn't you be happier? So he's like, Dad, like, how can I be happy when, I told you what happened between me and Chanel? And he's like, yes, I understand, but you killing up yourself is not going to make things better. And if you really feel that, this guilt, you can't hold the secret any longer, and, Chanel somehow finds out, it's going to be, more problematic. You need to, like, keep your cool, keep your calm and all that. And, he's saying that, how can I, when I have so much guilt, like, I really want this in the open. Like, I really want Chanel to find out. Like, I just really can't. I can't contain myself no further. And, even though Joy said not to do it because it would affect her job and at the soap opera. So he's like, what about your job at the soap opera? Like, you're the director. Like, how would that affect you? You got to think through this, right? You can't afford Chanel to know. So Chanel comes in and Chanel's like, what don't I need to know? So he's like, your mom and I had a disagreement about a certain case, and, but, I told her that, I have everything under control, so she doesn't need to worry. So she's like, if you have it under control, then, she just needs to understand that you're doing your job. So he said, like, with everything that has happened with Johnny ruining the birthday party the other day, like, I don't want you to stress your head about anything else. So she said, that's fine. And, we're working on things. We're getting a little bit better. So at this point, he said that I hope that my son, continues to just prove himself and that he earns your forgiveness. So he just leaves them to like have a conversation, right? So we see Leo and Javi, right? So they seem to have a fantastic night because they're in bed together already, right? So anyways, they're just talking about, the chemistry they had and all that they have to themselves. However, at some point, Javi realized that he's late for work, and Gabby did call him and send messages, and he didn't pick up, so he really needs to get out there. I mean, he has no other job. Even though she's not paying him that much, he still needs to make it for that, and, he needs something else to do. So anyways, Leah really wanted him to stay because today is the soap opera's first airing, and he wants to see how his writing came to life and all that. So he really was asking Javi to stay and see how he's really doing. So he said, all right, I guess I can be late and all that. So they watched it, and then he did Leo did dress up for that. They had breakfast before, and Leo actually dressed up, but Javi was in bed, shirtless and all. He was on the laptop, but there was something that Leo said, like, why didn't you watch it on the TV? So it's like, this is much more intimate and all that. But I just feel like Javi's up to something, but I could be wrong. So anyways, he sits down and they watch it, and he does praise Leo for his work and said he did an awesome job. So he did get ready to leave, to not be any later. So Abe actually invited Kate and Roman over, because things have kind of slowed down at the pub. So she said that she could come over. So she brought wine, and they're there. They had the snacks and everything. And Paulina also offered, the cupcakes. So Roman told Paulina that, Kate is watching her figure. So they left the cupcakes at the pub. So she said she's also watching her diet, her sugar. So she offered Abe the cupcakes. So he's like, might as well I do it. So I feel bad that nobody else is sharing in this, but I guess I have to take one for the team. So anyways, he bites into it. He's enjoying it. So they sit down. They watch a soap opera. They actually, feel good about how it's doing. And Paulina said, Abe and Kate did a really good job with casting the crew, and she's proud of her daughter and all of that. So Johnny and Chanel, they're alone, and, they got a chance to talk. So Chanel up and tells this man that, listen, I invited Joy over to watch the soap opera airing with us. So of course Johnny's uncomfortable about this, and he's saying, like, why would you do that? Like, I was thinking we could be alone, watch it upstairs in the room and all that. So she's like, while that might be fun, I already invited her, I can't like cancel it. So he's like, just uninvite her. So she's like, I already did. I didn't want to seem rude, and besides, she really has nothing else doing, so I want to invite her. So before they could even proceed to change that, Joy comes in with EJ, right? So EJ had to leave, but before he left, he did ask if he could get one of the cupcakes, and she said, go right ahead. Like, I have a love scene I had to shoot for, and I really don't want the extra sweets and all that. And Joy said that too. So he just took one of them and decided to leave, right? So they're watching the soap opera, and of course you could tell that Johnny was super uncomfortable. After it finished, they were talking about how good the soap opera was, and Joy was saying Chanel did an awesome job. So she said, I noticed that one of the castmates are not here. Like, who is that person? So Chanel told her that it's Hattie Adams, and she was let go because she wanted, the soap opera to give her, a different ultimatum, but that wasn't being respected. So they had to kill her off. So she didn't take that really well, and she actually wanted to set a curse upon them and all, who caused her that, right? So she said, you don't believe it, right? So she said, it's really, she has done many things in the past, so it's really, we don't take it really lightly. So Joy abruptly leaves because she has to go over some scenes and update her mom on something. So she leaves, and as about to leave the door, Chanel tells Johnny to go check on her, see if she's doing, because, she just left abruptly and it just, looked weird to her. So anyways, Johnny goes over and Johnny speaks to Joe, and Johnny is like, you couldn't tell Chanel no that you didn't want to come over. So she's like, I didn't want to be rude, and, I'm just as uncomfortable as you. So he's like, this thing is eating me alive and I just have so much guilt. And she's saying like, I understand that, but, you can't tell her, like, are you thinking to tell her? So he's like, he has to keep quiet. So she leaves and he comes back in to Chanel, and Chanel asks him how she's doing, and he said that she's okay. So she was going over the scene for the rest of the show, and she noticed that Faith and Arrow have this big thing coming up, and she understands that, Faith, something with the scene is like the first episode, and she realized that Faith and Arrow had a disagreement and something was wrong with how Arrow handled things. And she was saying that it's better to have the truth come out than to have this continue to fester and fester, and then it's gonna be one big mess. So of course Johnny's feeling guilty about it, because he's feeling like he should tell her from the get-go and not have this linger, because this is going to be some kind of scene when this all comes out. At some point we see EJ and Paulina, right? So EJ is trying to enjoy this cupcake, and Paulina walks over and bounces her bag on him, and he drops the cupcake. So he's like, I know you're angry with me, but why take it out on a defenseless cupcake? So she said like, forget about the grievance I have against you about the case, but like, I have a personal issue. Like, what are we going to do about Johnny and Chanel? So he's like, I understand Johnny hurt Chanel, but, they are trying to mend things. And we as the parents, we just need to step out. And I agree with him. Like, let the people handle what they need to handle. They're not kids. They're grown adults. Let them handle what they need to handle in their marriage. So Abe and Kate are at the studio, and Abe is on the phone with, I guess, critics or whatever. They called to tell him that the ratings were really good and they wanted to congratulate them on the episode thus far. So they're really optimistic about the progression of this episode and all the soap opera and all that. So at some point Kate is mentioning that, look how Hattie said that she was gonna curse us, and look at us where we at, right? So Abe started to throw up out of the blue again. This is, I think, it has to do with that cupcake and it be potentially poisoned, right? So he started to throw up. He runs out, get the bin, and runs in, I guess, the bathroom to throw up. So something is definitely wrong here. So Bonnie goes over to Leo's place, right? And she's asking him if he had seen the soap opera, and he said, yes, I did, and you did really well. You should have a huge following by now. So they go ahead to check on the reviews and everything on the computer. So Leo sees a lady whistleblower column. So he's surprised because he has not done that in so long. So he reads it and it's going well so far. However, the person that's acting as Lady Whistleblower is talking about, more spoilers from the soap opera. So of course, Leo has some damage control to do, because people will assume that it's actually him trying to push out spoilers before the rest of the episodes have aired. So this all screams Hattie with the tainting of the cupcakes, the potential tainting or poison the cupcakes, and this column, this has her on it. Like I said, I don't think we have seen the last of her. So that is it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.